Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to Be the Man. And of course, we couldn't do it without the Hall of Famer, the greatest of all time, ladies and gentlemen, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Rick, how are you, man?
Thank you. Great. Missed you guys last week. God, life is crazy.
Dude, it is crazy, and there is
Moving
so much going
fast.
on.
Yeah.
So much going on in wrestling right now, and there's a lot of hot topics. Let's try to get through a few of them, and then we'll jump into some questions. First
Okay.
off, let's talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw. Jey Uso turned finally on Sami. It finally
Yeah.
happened. What'd you think? And do you think now we'll see Sami and Owens versus the Usos at WrestleMania?
If I had to guess, that's what it looks like it's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. No, the storyline's been great. I mean, it's interesting. And, I mean, everything on the show was great. I liked the stuff with, Cody and, Roman and, you know, Cody told the story about, opening his own company and all that. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
A lot
what
of
did you
history.
think of Cody and Roman? I mean, they haven't really been in the ring together doing a promo, and it finally happened this past Friday on SmackDown. It seems like it's almost been Heyman sort of been the surrogate for Roman for these promos back and forth, but they were in the ring together for the first time. Did it feel like a WrestleMania main event in the making to you?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I think it's just, I think Cody has matured in a guy that I think that people think that Cody can give him a hell of a match.
I
I
don't, I
just think
don't,
they're doing it without a lot of physicality,
right.
which I like. Very similar to the build up with Rhea and the Queen.
Well, speaking of,
As Michael Hayes would say, it's a big fight atmosphere.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it felt like a big deal when John Cena made his triumphant return to WWE. He came back to a hero's welcome in Boston and then pretty much destroyed Austin Theory on the mic. So I'm curious.
As to be expected.
Well, of course, yeah. My goodness, how do you compete?
Yeah.
At WrestleMania, would you ask Cena to help make Theory? I mean, does Cena even have time in his schedule to defend the U.S. title? If you were booking this, what would you do at WrestleMania?
Well, I don't know what the plan is, but I would assume that John is such a company guy that he's
Right,
he absolutely would not have time with his kid.
right.
John's like working full time. He's making movies as fast as The Rock and
Yeah,
Dave. I mean,
including that new, Fast and Furious movie that is gonna be a blockbuster, you just know it.
yeah, of course. John is he's just all about the company
Right.
and anything he can do to help. And I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, but he's going to make sure that they know he's there,
Yeah.
which they did with the promo. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but it'll be up to Theory to pull it off after John gets back on the plane and goes back to work. No, really, the same with Sami. I mean, Sammy's had a hell of a run with the bloodline.
Yeah.
Now it's up to him. I mean, he's got to develop his career. They certainly have given him the opportunity and given him
Oh,
the
yeah.
push.
Yeah.
It's just, how it goes. You can be red hot because you're attached to the right bus. And the next day you're on your own trying to figure out, and then once again, it's up to the writers. Which they seem to really like Sam. He's very entertaining, but it's been, it's been a story that's been circled around four people,
Right.
five counting Paul, right? I guess.
Right.
So now I'm assuming they're breaking that all up. Not so much the bloodline between the Usos and Roman, but I think Sammy will be going a different direction probably. So now we'll see if he can pull it off on his own, which he should be able to. He's done a great job.
Yeah, the fans are behind him, and I've even heard some people, including Triple H in the presser for Elimination Chamber, he made the comparison of Sami Zayn to Mick Foley, that for whatever reason, fans just gravitate to him because he connects on an emotional level. He can make you happy, he can make you sad, he can make you angry. So he might not necessarily look like
He used to get major heat. I told you. No, he's good. We'll have to see. Foley had a hell of a career. That's That's a big name to match him up against.
No doubt.
You know who does stuff that's crazy is Foley, and I tell him all the time, I hope they're paying you, is, Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kevin Owens reminds me more of,
Holy.
Foley than, Sami Zayn does. Kevin does all that crazy shit. I said to him one day, I said, "I hope they're paying you." He said, "They are." I said,
Good.
"Good, kid. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy to ask because nobody else is gonna do that shit."
No doubt.
Yeah, that happened. There was a bump on WrestleMania, I think, during the COVID thing he took. Can't remember what it was, but some crazy through the tables and everything else. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
think, him and Sammy were 2 of the first guys I saw doing, like, the power bombs on the apron and things like that, and it was
yeah,
like, goodness gracious.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
listen, the guy he would have gone to and asked for a little more money once upon a time was back at Monday Night Raw, and that was the story of the week coming out of Boston. Vince McMahon was back at the show, at TV, and in Gorilla all night. What'd you make of this news, Rick?
Hmm. He's the boss,
Yeah,
and he just let everybody know it. I'm sure he loves visiting with John. They're very close,
right.
which they have both been relayed to me on different conversations. I think Vince and John are beyond fun. They're just really close. And I think um, John, where guys will drift off and that, John always stays right there. I wouldn't be surprised if they talk, a couple times a week. But no, I just think he let everybody know he's still the boss.
Well, I know that there's a lot of
Well,
people
I mean,
who
if he wasn't, he wouldn't be sitting in Gorilla in the chair he's always sat in. I understand it's sat right in his regular chair
wow,
for the whole show, right? Is that true?
I don't know. I just
Ask
saw the
Bruce.
reports that he was there,
Yeah.
and, I know a lot of people felt like, well, he's gotta be back creatively, because of the Brock Lesnar situation. Of course, as the story goes, Lesnar was, maybe not too keen on doing a match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. I don't know. I wasn't there. That's certainly the rumor. And instead, he's gonna be taking on Omos, and you talk about 2 big men. But last week at Monday Night Raw, not this week, but last week, it came out that he was saying his goodbyes to folks, saying he's quote unquote finishing up. And historically, we've always seen Brock Lesnar be one of the smartest guys in the room when it came time to get a new contract. Just so happens that this past weekend, John Jones was crowned as the world heavyweight champion. And in his post match press conference, one of the first names they brought up was, "What about Brock Lesnar?" And John sort of hinted that, "Hey, man, that would have been a fun fight. And I guess it could still happen. Brock, if you're listening, you think there's any chance that we see Brock leave WWE and go into UFC? Or do you think this is just more Brock creating leverage for a better deal from the WWE?"
Well, I will tell you something. Brock drinks a couple of beers now and then. He takes phenomenal care of his body. He looks exactly the same as he did, how many years ago now? 15 years ago.
Yeah.
If he wanted to get in shape, that I can tell you this, I'd love to see it. I know John a little bit, but not like I know Brock. I think that'd be phenomenal. That'd be big time, and I know I'd watch it. I tried to stay up to watch it live, but 1 o'clock in the morning is a little rough on me these days. I'm more like a 5 to 10 guy.
It's crazy, man. There were so many naysayers because he had been, on a 3-year hiatus and he was moving up in weight
Yeah,
class and
God.
people were critical of his physique. And goodness gracious, he finished him in 2 minutes.
All they gotta do is play back his career, my God. He's a
Yes.
badass, man.
Yes.
He's a Roberto Duran boxing from the old days, where he gains all that weight in between fights and all that. But when he comes back down and get in the ring, man, killer. So, I mean, but would I love to see Brock Lesnar? And yes, I would love that. I just, I don't know what else there is for Brock to do in the WWE
You know,
right
there's
now.
been there's been speculation, that he, quote, unquote, "doesn't wanna work for anybody but Vince," and the idea being that maybe if Vince isn't around, I don't wanna be here anymore. We heard that a week ago, and then the very next Monday Night Raw, Vince was there, and I couldn't help but wonder, do you think there's any truth to that rumor that maybe Brock and Vince have a special relationship and he just wants to work for Vince?
Well, if you can tell me, I'm sure Bruce will told you, didn't he leave the building when Vince came out and quit?
That's the story, and they had to talk him into coming back. That
Yeah,
same day where they
yeah.
announced he was gone,
If that's a
Rock
true
said,
story, if that's a true story, which I'm told it is, then I believe that's very possible.
wow.
Well, that's the first thing I heard. It was bigger news than Vince leaving. It was Brock leaving the building. So, I don't know. I haven't asked anybody. You and I have talked about it, but I think he has a lot of respect for Vince. Number one, number two, he's a great athlete and has as much mileage in him as he wants to put back into the business. He's in great shape, and he's got to be a millionaire by now. So
Oh, yeah.
it's he does very well with his money. He lives, I mean, he lives good, but he's conservative, and he's just a legit badass. I have a ton of respect for him. Man. A few times I worked with him where I just thought, maybe this isn't going to be happening. That I couldn't have been in better hands. So I mean, I have a lot of respect for him, and
I
he's
think most of
legit,
us. Yeah,
and
no doubt.
he's legit. So
I can't wait to see what happens. Something else that is legit that a lot of people were shocked to hear. Not only was Vince McMahon back at TV, but he was sporting a new look. Did you hear this? Vince McMahon has a mustache now?
I did. I just didn't know what was real or not.
Well, I can confirm it is real.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that you just a few weeks ago talked about wearing a sport coat and jeans to TV. And he said something like, what was it? What has happened to Ric Flair? What are
No,
you
no,
doing,
no.
Flair?
What the fuck are you? Got your Ric Flair to doing? You're wearing jeans to TV. You're supposed to be setting an example. Like everybody else has got jeans, but I'm not allowed to wear them. I bought some shit for WrestleMania. Make sure when he sees me, I'm tricked out. Maybe I can get back in the fold.
Well, now Vince is wearing a mustache. Are you working on a line? Like, do you have
I
a
I love it.
My goodness.
Yeah,
He looks like, he looks
handsome
like he's
dude that
Rick
he is.
Rude. Looks like he's Rick Rude's uncle in that
Yeah,
shot there.
yeah, yeah. Under that jacket too, he's still got that great physique. He looks good.
No doubt, no
Yeah.
doubt. Well, of course, you might be seeing him sooner rather than later. The rumor is you're gonna be in New York City this weekend. Tell everybody where they can see you.
Oh, I am, man. The big event with Ryan Fitterman, Fitterman Sports. I'll be with Cody actually, Edge and Ashley
How
and
about
And the
Charlotte
Queen.
Flair?
And the
Yeah.
Queen, yeah. It's like a family tradition. The Flairs and the road together again. Last time Dusty and I were in New York together, we were sitting at the Lone Star Cafe with Chuck Berry on the stage, which I think I got up on too with Paul Heyman. Me and Dusty had a lot of fun in New York. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I like that you called it a family reunion because you didn't know this, but Megan and I are gonna be in New York this weekend too.
Are you really?
And I think if you're thinking what I'm thinking and I'm thinking what you're thinking, we need to go see our man Etan.
Oh, absolutely, my god. Yeah, what do you guys just come up there for a show or what?
No, I got a business
No,
meeting.
no,
And
please don't tell me you're going to a Broadway play or something like that. That's what Wendy
well,
wants me to do.
you may not even know this, but one of the first dates I took Megan on back when it was really, really hot, I got tickets to the hardest to get ticket in town at the time, which was the Hamilton musical when it was really
Yeah,
hot in 2016.
yeah.
She had no frame of reference for what it was or why it was a big deal or what was going on and showed up in Lululemon, and I have given her shit every day since.
I love
So,
it.
no, we will not be going to a Broadway play or musical. We
Well,
will
I'm
not.
not against them, I just don't go to
Right,
them.
right.
It's just a little bit too that it's just not my character.
Yeah, it's
But
not your speed.
you're gonna be over Saturday night?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh god, that's great news,
Or are you
man.
coming up Friday?
I am coming up Friday night because I'm in Dallas with the Funtown RV.
Let's try to if you're around, let's try to hang out Friday night. That'll be fun.
I don't land until 10:30, but I can find you because I don't have to work until 10 the next morning.
I love it. Well, we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're probably staying in the city, right?
no, I'm not actually. I'll send you where I'm staying off air.
Okay, well, I'm right by the airport too.
Okay,
Coming in LaGuardia?
coming into White Plains.
White Plains, okay, well, in
Yeah,
a private jet?
of course. You know how
I
we do.
I love that.
Hey,
I lo
WWE is running MSG the next day. So you're there on Saturday. On Sunday, and historically, WWE has been running Barclays more and more. It's always special when the company runs the Garden. Any chance we're going to see you at Madison Square Garden on Sunday?
I haven't been invited, as I doubt it. You
Well,
know, if I thought you guys were gonna stay, I'd go to the show with you guys.
oh, we're not
It
going. I just
it
didn't know if
it
you were going.
is the Queen on the show?
I assume it's like a super show. So I think
Oh, yeah,
Cody
of
and
course.
Charlotte and everybody's there. And of course, we're there. There's going to be a lively opportunity for sure because anywhere you go, you got something special on you. You used to brag about taking it in the ring with you every time, and now you're carrying Henson Shaving. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about this, what are you waiting for? You got to meet Henson Shaving. This is my favorite razor of all time. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that has made parts for the ISS. That's right, the International Space Station and the Mars rover. And now they're bringing that same precision engineering to your face. You see, razor blades are like diving boards. The longer the board, the more the wobble. The more wobbles, well, the more nicks and cuts and scrapes. You see, a bad shave isn't really a blade problem, it's an extension problem. But our guys at Henson Shaving use aerospace grade CNC machines to make metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches. That's less than the thickness of a human hair. It means a more secure and a more stable blade with a vibration free shave. And it gets better. The razor has built in channels to evacuate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible. Seriously, what I love about Henson Shaving is they wanted to make the best razor, not the best razor business. What that means, guys, is there's no plastic, there's no dumb subscriptions, there's no proprietary blades, and there's no planned obsolescence. The Henson razor works with Ric Flair's favorite, the standard dual edged razor blade. It gives you an old school shave. Nobody knows about that better than Rick, but with all the benefits of new school tech. And once you own a Henson razor, it's only like $3 to $5 a year to replace blades. Think about how much you've been spending down at the grocery store or the drugstore. Blades are outrageously expensive. This is $3 to $5 a year. It's time to say no to subscriptions and say yes to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/Flair to pick the razor for you and use the promo code Flair, and you'll get 2 years worth of blades for free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to HENSONSHAVING.com/Flair and use the promo code Flair. Rick, it's my favorite razor of all time. I've even got my barber using it. I got my dad using it. Everybody's going to love this. And it's your favorite, man. The dual edge old school razors. You've made a lot of
Fantastic.
money with those, huh?
Yeah, they're beautiful. I'm very excited and happy they're aboard.
I am happy they're aboard too. And we should talk about AEW. They had a huge pay per view this past weekend on the West Coast. Of course, it was Revolution. And we should talk about the news and notes coming out of there. Let's start with the Elite. They dropped the trios titles, and that's led to lots of talk before and after about Kenny Omega having interest in a WWE run, to the point where Tony Khan even had to address it at the media scrum after the event. Would you be surprised to see Kenny Omega in the WWE when his deal is up?
No.
If you're Tony
I mean,
Khan,
he's that good.
yeah,
I don't I don't I've been around Kenny a couple times, and of course, I was with him in Mexico when he wrestled Andrade.
right,
Got a respectful guy and all that, but man, he's a hell of a hand. Nothing would surprise me in
right.
free agency. I mean, you and I are sitting here right here, and we not to switch the subject, but can you believe nobody has even offered Lamar Jackson nothing
No, I cannot.
since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon? He hasn't even got a whisper. And the first people to say no were the Atlanta Falcons, who need a quarterback so bad they can't stand it.
I don't get it.
The Buccaneers, I don't get it either.
Yeah.
I can think it maybe his mother just a lot to deal with. It's got to be that. I mean, there's some drama there that we're not aware of. And sometimes when the family is running your finances and all that, that causes problems. But Jesus Christ, how can this kid not have one offer on the table.
The latest rumor this morning, there's at least articles floating out there about it, is how he might wind up as a 49er, which I wouldn't have had on my bingo card, but man, how about that?
I love that.
Yeah.
I also, be honest, you know how I feel about Tua. Hope Tua is healthy, but I can't help but think about those 3 concussions, man.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
so man, Miami. Can you imagine him with Tyreek Hill?
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
As an adult, don't we all miss spring break? Nothing like taking a week off from all your responsibilities. Well, here's the next best thing for adults, a spring break from house payments. SaveWithConrad.com can help you get rid of all your credit card debt, just like that. We're routinely helping our listeners save $5, $6, $7, even $800 a month. And you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this, but check this out, no house payments for 2 months. It's SaveWithConrad.com. I wanted to ask you about Miami because it came out a couple of days ago that perhaps Tom Brady wasn't done, that
Yeah.
perhaps Tom Brady was going to come back after all, and maybe Miami would be an option. And Tom Brady, of course, said, well, those who say that probably have never let their daughter adopt a kitten. So he's trying to quieten that down. Do you think there's any chance we see Tom Brady in the uniform as a Dolphin next year?
No, I think only because of the fact that he signed that pro card, whatever that means, which he didn't do the first time he retired, where you actually announce.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that card's called, but I don't know. Personally, you guys, I'd love to go play for my.
Oh, it'd be so fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot left in him, guys. He had a rough year, and to be honest with you, the Buccaneers weren't the same.
No, they were
They
not.
were dropping balls. It wasn't just Tom. You know what I mean? So I'd love to see that, but with the right team. Miami would be the right team. I don't want to see him with Oakland or anybody else, but Miami, my God, he lives there now.
Yeah.
So, hell, I just want to hang out. When I talked to him on the phone, I said, listen, before you officially transfer the flag from Tampa, you and I got to go out, man. You and me, the meat market, please. One night, I'm begging you. The
That's so
nation,
fun.
Tom Brady.
I
He's a handsome son of a bitch.
love you for that.
Yeah. How about Aaron Rodgers too, man? God dang, I love that Aaron Rodgers. I can't figure that out either. He's just having fun. I think he just like to keep everybody
He's
guessing.
absolutely having fun. I
Yeah.
mean, he's got the leverage and he's not shy about
$58
playing.
million. Of course he's gonna play.
Yes. Are you kidding? Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Let's talk about the Kenny Omega situation. If you're Tony Khan, would you put him back into the title picture given these rumors, or would you hold off on all that?
Well, first of all, I like him as a single better than I like him in tag situations.
Agree.
I'd put him back in singles. And I mean, you can't have enough good single wrestlers.
Right.
Kenny Omega's good. I mean, I heard the Iron match. I didn't see it, but I heard the Iron match was fantastic with the words I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it or not, but
Yeah, I want to talk about that. But before we do, I want to ask you about
Omega would be great. Omega, yeah, to me, you can't have enough good single wrestlers.
would you roll the dice with these rumors swirling that he might be interested in leaving and put the title back on him, maybe as a way to placate him, or maybe it's just what's best for the company? Or do you use him to help make other guys if you think he's really gonna be leaving?
Well, I don't think. To me, I understand Kenny manages his money real well.
Yes.
I don't think he'll let him use him like that.
Right.
He'll just wait till his contract runs out.
Mm.
I mean, Kenny would be. Let me tell you, it all depends on how much money Tony wants to spend and how much money the WWE wants to spend.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Well, let's talk about somebody else who we're excited is back in wrestling. The former Paige is back in AEW.
Yeah, and she
Saraya
looks
now.
great. She looks
has
great.
cemented at the pay-per-view that she's a heel. Do you think she's a more natural heel or babyface?
Heel for sure.
Yeah. I think she's
Yeah,
great.
and her work she hasn't lost a beat. She looks great. I've seen her twice now.
Well, you brought it up. The real story over the weekend was MJF. He did that Iron Man match in the main
Yeah.
event position. We sort of speculated maybe they would start with it. They didn't do it. They went the full 60 minutes. Time expired 3-3, and then they went into sudden death. They went another 7 minutes and change before MJF tapped out Bryan Danielson. An incredible match that should have been what everybody was talking about, but that wasn't the story. The story is that MJF, early on in the match, took a drink from a mother and threw it in her small child's face, her son's face. And making it even worse, MJF may have thought that because it was clear it was water, but it was in fact tequila. And fans were all over MJF about it. And I wanted to ask the dirtiest player in the game, was this too far, in your
Yeah.
opinion?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cheap heat.
Yeah.
You want to do something to get heat and get the people excited that won't hurt anybody. You cut yourself so deep that when you swing your hair, you throw blood all over them. Yeah.
Oh my.
That's what I used to do all the time when I had long hair. I would get, then they feel like they're part of the action. I go, shit, this ain't paint. This is blood.
It's not food coloring. It's not Gallagher.
Yeah,
This is the real deal.
I'm totally against throwing anything at a kid. My God, because you never know.
Yeah.
Not to mention that, but that ice in it, and that, there's got the liability there. I'm sure Tony did a cartwheel at Gorilla.
Oh yeah. AEW responded in quick fashion. They did all they could to make it up to the little man and his family. And here's the thing, I'm not trying to carry MJF's water because I don't like MJF personally. He is not a good person. We will never be friends. However, he's 26 years old.
Are
So
you
he's
saying that serious?
yeah. I don't like him and he didn't like me, and that's cool.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, he's a
Where's
shitty person. He's throwing drinks in kids' faces and
Yeah.
cussing out people. And I mean, we've had him at some StarCast and stuff, and he just made a spectacle of himself and was rude to fans. And he's just not a good guy.
I was totally unaware of that.
Yeah. Just
Well,
not a good guy.
I can tell you right now that shit wouldn't fly at WWE. I got news for you.
Yeah.
For something like that, if you actually did that with malice and not meaning to hurt anybody, just like I didn't know that about him. I only met him one time, so but that wouldn't work in WWE for a minute. And that's the difference between, and I keep citing this, the fight that went down. It's still not been addressed.
Right.
When something like this with the WWE, I mean, their priority is Make-A-Wish. I mean, that's those two
Now, when
words.
you're saying the fight hasn't been addressed, do you mean the one where Andrade lit up Sammy Guevara, or do you mean
No,
the Bucks?
the one with the Bucks and CM Punk, all that.
Well, here's the thing.
If it's been addressed, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to make it a public matter, but the thing that
Well, that's social media has already made it a public matter.
right.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
you and I weren't there, but it's all you heard about for 2 months.
but there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, and CM Punk's still not back." I think he tore his bicep. He's not supposed to be back. Like when you're injured, you're out. And I mean, what do you think? Do you think Punk comes back to AEW? Because I do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about, once again, but I'm saying you and I, we sit here and we speculate 'cause we don't know. I just know that WWE, the shit would have been, they just squash it like that.
Right.
And someone goes home and they don't get paid while they're home. Hell, they sent me home. You know, I got popped for a steroid test. Laurinaitis said, I said, I got a prescription. He said, the doctor said it doesn't work on a guy your age. I said, a prescription, how many? I said, I'm 55 years old, wrestling 25-year-old kids. He said, you're fighting 40 grand, but you're not going home. Be at work every day. I'm just not going to pay you for a month.
Oh.
How about that? Yeah. And my shit's always different than everybody else's story.
Oh my gosh.
Don't pay me, send me home. No, you don't get days off. Like that time they told me, they just still don't have a picture of me with the Intercontinental belt. It drives them crazy, right? I said, I'm not taking the Intercontinental belt. And so they fined me $5,000. And I said, when you guys are so starved for talent that you got to find a 55-year-old guy for not taking a picture with an Intercontinental belt, you've got a developmental problem with talent.
Did you just, I mean, since you had been a 16-time world champion, you just felt like the Intercontinental Championship and a photo with you with that, you didn't want that to be a promo photo one day?
No, it wasn't that. I just didn't want to take off my shirt any more than I had to.
Oh, I got you.
I'm talking about vanity. Wasn't
Right.
the belt. Well,
Right.
I mean, that was awesome having the belt. That's a misconception. I just didn't want to take off my shirt any more than I had to, man. I was ducking and dodging. I was paying Kevin Dunn to shoot me at different angles. Can't have man boobs around Intercontinental Championship shit. What the fuck? WTF.
You know, I didn't even notice until you, told me about this a few years ago, but there's multiple versions of that famous photo of Shawn Michaels super kicking you at WrestleMania 24.
Uh-huh.
There's ones that fans took, and then there's the ones that WWE released with a little bit of a touch up here and there. And I wouldn't have noticed that, but I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that maybe that would have been it. Cause I know there were a lot of fans who thought, well, this belt is beneath Rick, but I thought, I mean, at this stage of his career, that's cool. He's still getting some title matches in there.
Oh, no, it's strictly a cosmetic issue. They wanted me to take off my shirt and stand there with a belt on my shoulder. I said no.
Yeah. I love that.
$5,000.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You'll do that. Let me
all day long. If I can keep if they can just see my neck from here up in my face, and that's it.
My goodness. Well, let's do some questions. We oh, you know what? Before we do, let's circle back one more time about MJF. You know, when you're the dirtiest player in the game, you know all about heat. Where is the line? Is the line, you know, you don't touch them, but they can touch you. You try to goad them into touching you, but you never touch them. Or is there a line?
Well, but with me, it was, I'll take your wife home, fat boy, and make a woman out of her. Okay.
Yes.
You can't say that anymore.
Right.
You can't go like this.
Yeah.
Like you're humping somebody, right? Throwing blood in their face. I mean, but my verbiage was just abusive.
Yes.
I would abuse people. You know what I mean? Especially a guy with his wife. I'd say, are you kidding me? She's sitting with you when she could be with me. I mean,
I love that.
or you paid to look at it and not talk to it, asshole. I mean, but mine was just verbal abuse.
Yes.
But it worked.
Yeah, I did.
Or taking a run at the guy, right? Knowing you're going to go near him, but to me, I like involving the audience in the ring. And of course, when you're out on the floor, you want to be as entertaining as you possibly can. I mean, you know this for a fact. Well, I used to hit Steamboat and Garvin and guys that would let me on the floor as hard as I goddamn could.
Yes.
So people went home saying, holy shit, he was really knocking this shit out of these guys. I mean, you've seen me in Steamboat. These guys are whacking me and Garvin. I was watching a match with me and Wahoo the other day. No wonder I don't have any calcification in my veins in my heart. That and the alcohol has kept me cleaned out. No, but I mean, to me on the floor is when you really try to show them something real. Like I just had Randy, vertically stand me up, even in my 50s and suplex me on the floor. Could people go? I mean, you know what I mean? Or like Ed jumping off on the table on me, and I mean, people are there. They're going home. Holy shit! You know what I mean? And that's what we need, more reaction. You can't feel that 25 rows up in section B. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the first 5 rows, when you're doing that shit outside of the ring, man, they're going home. They're going. That shit's in there, and it was. I don't mind getting hit. I've been hit in the mouth, hard, chop, whatever. But I mean, my gig was when my hair was long, I'd be bleeding like hell and drown them in it.
I know you didn't, I know you didn't see the Iron Man match, but there was blood in it. And speaking
Yeah.
of blood, I want to get your take on the hardcore match. There was a lot of chatter on social media about whether or not Moxley and Hangman Adam Page went too far. It was a brutal match. They were using barbed wire and digging it into each other and all the weapons, all pulling out all the stops. Does hardcore wrestling still have a place in mainstream
Absolutely.
wrestling?
Yeah, once in a while.
Yes.
It always will. What's her name is playing a clip of me. Sophia posted a clip of me wrestling Mick Foley this morning.
Yeah.
on social media. And yeah, there's always, but it's not something you do every day.
Right.
That makes sense. And I mean, I give John Moxley and those guys credit. You know, when you're doing that and it's real barbed wire, and people go, "That's phony," but well, it ain't phony. That's what we do to ourselves to impress you and to earn the dollars that you're paying us to entertain you. It's not phony. It ain't fun. You need to drink about 4 Mountain Dews before you get out there and do it until you get warmed up, because this shit hurts. And don't think those chair shots. You remember how Lesnar, he used to do the Big Show?
Oh, wide open.
No, I mean, shit. I mean, we used to kill each other with the chairs. And then now it's no more headshots. But in the old days, man, you just swang away.
Well, let's talk about
Vince actually screamed at me one night in Connecticut for not hitting Austin hard enough in the head. I said, Jesus Christ, this is after his neck injury, or I knew he had a bad neck. I said, I'm not hitting him that hard. I don't mind glancing on him, but I'm not hitting Steve, because Steve ain't going to go like this, right?
right.
Steve wants you to, and he screamed at me. I said, well, I'm sorry. But I'm not going to hit a guy I know that's got a potential injury as hard as I can in the head with a chair. I'm sorry. You know, but I mean, we take a lot for granted, but especially in the old days, you think that they used to do this deal where they throw a chair in the ring with Brody, and Brody throw me in, they'd take the flipper on the apron, and I'd come up flying off there, and Brody would cream me with a chair in midair. Try that shit one time. No, there's no way to time that.
Right.
There's no way in the world to time that.
More often than not, would he get you in the midsection, or is that to the head?
No, right to the head. Midsection.
Wow.
I wish. Gotta be kidding.
Well, obviously these days we're not doing chair shots to the head. Whenever you see a chair, it's usually shots to the back. Do you think
Yeah.
wrestling's better for that now that we know what we know about CTE?
Absolutely.
Speaking of,
But I do think this. I think, and I remember it because it was that good. The chair shot that Sami Zayn with Roman, it had to be that hard.
yes,
Yeah, and that's what made it.
yes,
Sami was smart enough, because I'm sure Roman didn't give a shit. Roman's tougher than hell. And Sami lit his ass up. People went,
yes,
and but it needed to be that.
yes.
Did it feel good? No, but Roman ain't crying. He don't give a shit. The Samoan kids are tougher than shit. And I mean, they understand. All those kids grew up second generation. They're tough kids, man.
Yeah.
But that made Sami, when he, instead of just tapping him right, he lit him up.
Hey guys, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley here, and I need to call a quick timeout, a brief timeout, because I wanted to tell your listeners what I have been telling Foley His Pod listeners for a while, about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
An all-new edition of The Insiders is here, as Conrad sits down with former WWE exec John Filippelli, who discusses his transition from the world of sports to pro wrestling and his ultimate transition out of the company.
Every take was getting worse than the one before it. I said, you got to stop. You got to stop this. You got to calm down. Stop. Calm down. Stop yelling at people. Take it easy. Tell them exactly what you want and we'll get through it. Which is, I have done 100 times since, and I would do 100 times more.
Yes.
But that was Vince McMahon, and you don't do that to Vince McMahon, particularly in front or around
Other people. Yeah.
That was my mistake. I mean, if you want to call it a mistake, although I would do it, I've done it since, and I would do it again.
Referee Nick Patrick is answering your questions every other Monday on our new mailbag series.
When Hall and Nash was there, they were great workers, so they could compete, had psychology. But they were cool. And a lot of people liked it, They were selling merch, And Hogan had heat. He had actually more heat than them. They had heat, but a lot of people liked it because they were cool. I was the only real character that they was calling NWO at the time that everybody hated. Everybody wanted to see me get out. But it worked, they had, Saturday. And so it worked,
Tony and Conrad have taken their shenanigans in front of a live studio audience, as they sat down live with ad-free shows members.
Hey, did you ever pet Jake's snake?
No, never did. I had a chance to in Chicago, but it was way too big and out of my league.
What's the right size snake for you?
One that just coils up and leaves me alone.
Yeah.
Have you ever oranged a Cassidy before?
Orange to Cassidy?
Yeah.
Would that be with one of those juicers, the juice machine, or you just squeeze it until all the juice comes out of it?
It runs down your leg or his leg. One or the other.
You got to be specific here with your dumbass questions here, Cassio.
That's just a small taste, a sample of what you the 4 letter support. See yourself by ad-free shows. You best value in wrestling today. Sign up now. Right now. Ad-free shows.
Well, we touched on CTE, you know, that we've changed the way we do chair shots. Now they're to the back, not to the head. And when we think about CTE, we often think of that concussion movie from Will Smith years ago. And over the weekend, Chris Rock did the first ever live Netflix special, and everybody waited to hear what he had to say about Will Smith and the slap at the Oscars last year. Did you see or hear about Chris Rock clapping back finally and addressing the Will Smith situation?
I did not. Sorry, please enlighten me. I saw it, but I haven't watched it.
Well, he did it in Jada Pinkett's hometown, talked about and just told the truth that Jada Pinkett had relations with her son's friend and talked to Will about it on the internet and put it all out there. And then everyone called Will a bitch, and he just hammered it home and finally clapped back. You and I never really talked about that. What'd you think of that whole Will Smith slapping Chris Rock business a year ago?
Well, first of all, I didn't know it was real
Yeah.
because I think you and Eddie talk about it. If you're that mad at a guy, you don't slap him, you punch him.
Right.
That's what throws me off. See, okay? Well, see, you can hit somebody as hard as you want unless you're Blackjack Mulligan. He slapped me so hard it almost broke my neck. Okay, but neither one of those guys are Blackjack Mulligan. So if you're mad at somebody, really mad, are you going to slap him like a bitch, or are you going to fucking punch him?
Right.
I mean, tell me. You got one lick coming.
Right.
It's coming back. You're going to slap him so the guy can just nail you with a fist for coming back? So I thought it was a work, but apparently it wasn't. So I admire them both as talents. I mean, I love Will Smith in the movies he's made, and I think Chris Rock. I've been out with him one time. I met him in L.A. one time. He is it's just. So I don't know what the answer to that is, but people get away with it a lot because there's nothing you can do anymore about it. Will Smith can't punch him next time he sees him; he'll go to jail.
Right.
Unless he follows him in the bathroom and puts the head in the toilet bowl or something like that. But seen that happen a few times.
Really?
Where a guy gives you some shit and you have to eat it because you're in front of 500 people, and I've done that myself 3 or 4 times.
You put dudes' heads in toilets.
I absolutely have twice. Yep.
And were these people we would know?
No, because people would give you a bunch of shit. I'm going back to, it's been 15 years. Where they knew you couldn't do anything, right, or whatever it was. Oh yeah, at the Palm Restaurant in Charlotte, and with I can't even tell you who. I probably don't want to get sued. And again at Del Frisco's in Charlotte, same guy.
Does this happen to be a car dealer?
No,
Okay.
insurance salesman. Megan knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've heard the story.
I walked across the basketball court at the Hornets, right during the goddamn game when it went to a break. It's the guy that screwed me and Beth out of all that money. Oh yeah, and he called the cops on me, and it said, "Guys, I didn't do."
Isn't there a story about a hood of a car at a valet stand or something like that?
No, that was another guy. That was over. That was over Tiffany. No, the best is when this guy we owned this building together on Megan knows the story, and he had a sign that said VIP parking.
Yeah.
And so I got my son David's pickup truck. I went over at 2 a.m, put a rope around it, and dragged the thing all the way down Piper Glen, right? and drove it up and took it out of the back of the truck and threw it in his front yard. He woke up with got this much cement on it, weighed about 200 pounds. I just dragged it down the road, threw it in his front yard.
My God.
Yeah.
You were a wild man.
That's because the guy turned his wife into social services to help leverage the divorce.
Oh my!
That guy's a real piece of shit. I'll see him. He's on that list. He's on that list. I've told you what it is, right?
The Ric Flair list.
The day that I find out I'm terminal,
I'm going to check some boxes.
I can name the Magnificent Seven. The day I find out I'm terminal, man, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I just got to get together and, as Dusty would say, genius a way to get them all in the same room.
My goodness. Well, listen, this weekend is going to be something that the world's never seen. We talked about the big slap from Chris Rock and Will Smith, but Dana White has Power Slap, and now it's going to be on pay-per-view this weekend. And a lot of people, when they see this, or they feel a certain type of way about it because of CTE, and other people say, hey, it reminds me of the old Flair chops, except now this is, with knockouts and on pay-per-view. Have you had a chance to see any of this? What do you think of it?
Well, we did a mild version of that when I did that show with, what was that called in Atlanta that I did, with the, Pete Davidson?
Oh yeah. The Triller show. Yeah.
It was but it wasn't hard. It wasn't, no, I mean, don't, I said earlier that the slaps can't hurt. That isn't correct. I'm talking about between Will Smith and these bigger guys slap. I mean, I'm telling you, Jack Mulligan, we're working, right? But he went adrenaline going, and I took his cowboy hat off and stomped on it. And brother, he slapped me so damn hard. I swear to God, man. I mean, I broke my eardrum. But Jack had a hand on him, like a ham sandwich, brother. I mean, same thing with Wahoo. When Wahoo chopped you or slapped you, brother, it was in there.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sure it. I don't know. Well, it's too late when you start talking about look at MMA.
Right.
See, all this stuff we're talking about, look at our guys every day. We're not much, not once a month, but every time, or 4 or 5 days a week, professional wrestlers, you're getting, every time you take a suplex, you land a little bit off, you're getting dropped on your head. I mean, you're not directly landing on it, but man, we kill ourselves, and we don't do it once a week.
Right.
And I'm not going to ever listen to that crap that football players are tougher than wrestlers. I have so much respect for football. I've seen so many guys think that from football they could become a professional wrestler.
It's a different deal.
Didn't last a day.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about getting trained in NXT. I'm talking about when Vern Gagne was training people.
Well, I know you think a lot of hockey too.
Yes.
Super fan of the show. Super Dave writes, now that Max Domi plays for the Dallas Stars, will you start pulling for them?
No, but I watched Max. Ty called me and said, watch the game. They were on CBS on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, I couldn't believe the Blackhawks let them go. Actually, I'm a huge fan of the Lightning. Living here in Tampa, man.
Yeah.
And they finally won last night. They lost like 5 games. But I'm a huge Lightning fan. I don't go to the games, but I have access to them. I made those Car Shield commercials with those guys, so I got to know a lot of them real well. Hockey is an incredibly tough sport. Talk about CTE issues.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, just in the game. I mean, how many hits to the head do they take, right?
A lot.
I know they got a helmet on and off, but hockey to me is the most physical. And and look at it now compared to what 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When the guys didn't have to wear helmets and Bob Probert wouldn't strap on his pads. I mean, shit. Tough sport. Nobody's got the original teeth. Nobody.
What a sentence.
No, think about that. You're sitting there, and your job is to sit in front of the goaltender to block his vision with a puck coming at you 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to tip the puck. I mean, think about it. How many guys get hit with a damn puck? Those goalies. I mean, look at that shit.
Yeah.
People go, oh, I don't know, And then if you go to a game, watch it on TV, and seeing it in person is 2 different things, especially if you can get a blue line seat.
Yeah.
it's brutal, man. Brutal. I love hockey, but
Let's,
they've toned that down a lot too.
I mean, they probably need to. I mean, you don't want to see guys get injured for real.
No, I know, but it's kind of like NASCAR. It's like wrestling. It goes with the territory.
Right.
I mean, NASCAR is a version of what it used to be. I mean, when Dale Jr. was driving and Gordon and those guys, man, I mean, that they used to say the reason that Jeff Gordon he hadn't gone upside down yet, used to drive like crazy, because Jeff wasn't afraid of nothing. Jeff's a nice guy, but Earnhardt and Dale Jr., man, they'll run over you. And think about that. I mean, you're going 200 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and you're on the bumper of a car this far apart, waiting to get drafted. I mean, who does that?
Right.
Not me. I don't know about you. I mean, I've gone around the track at 180 with the guys in the car by myself with no other cars, and that's fun. I love driving my car fast, but 180 going into a bank at the Charlotte Motor Speedway,
Fast.
forget it.
Yeah.
You got to get used to that shit. Much less with 30 other cars. Those guys have got huge balls too. My hat's off to all those guys.
You still driving the Batmobile around Tampa?
I certainly am. I had a chip put in it. It's 1,000 horsepower now.
Oh my God. So it's even faster than when I was in it?
Yep, I put the chip in, man.
The exhaust sounds like a race car. Has that thing gotten sideways on you down there before?
No, it's got 4-wheel drive, remember?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. It'll go.
Nick wants to know, during your North Korea tour, how was Muhammad Ali to be around?
Oh, he was fantastic until he said something at Marigold Hall. I told the story where he and I were the only ones that got invited to the Marigold Hall, which is their version of the White House, for this dinner. And this guy kept saying over and over again, they hate America and they hate the Japanese. And Ali tapped me on the leg and said, "No wonder we hate these son of bitches." I went, "Oh my God, why are you talking now? You've been silent for 2 days. Please do not. No wonder we hate these son of bitches." All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's talking fluent. This is not the time to have this debate, please.
No, it is not.
They'll send you home because you're a hero and keep me here for the sacrifice. Can't kill Muhammad Ali, but we can kill that fat Ric Flair, man.
Oh,
We'll
my
roll
goodness.
it. Oh, the guy asked me, he goes, "Is that a Rolex watch?" I said, he said to me, "We make $6 American in 1 week." I said, "If this will make it easier for you, you can have this damn watch, man. I just want to go home." You man, that plane, I'm out of here. I'll give it to you. Remember they kept us 2 days longer or 3 days? I mean, I had to call Eric because they wanted me to say something about it being better than America. And Eric said, "Just smooth it out." What do you mean, Eric? How do you smooth that out?
Yeah.
I asked Eric. I called him, man. That was not a pleasant trip.
Let's talk about something a little more pleasant.
But remember how much money I made, right? Oh, it's never going to be a pay-per-view. It'll never be seen anywhere in the world. You'll be more famous than Lawrence Taylor, I promise you, Rick.
$0, 00 for North Korea. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Let's stick to the last match pay scale. Hey, which ironically, I have to admit I computed it wrong. 238,000, and we haven't sold it yet. Meaning the partnership, right?
Right.
So we're hoping to get another 200 grand for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's people are still buying it and still talking about it, and the legend continues to grow.
Yeah, okay, but here's the deal. When I wrestled Savage, this is how big that payoff was. When I wrestled Savage in Indianapolis, right? Co-main event. What do you think I made for that match?
I don't know.
$250.
Wow.
Now think about that.
Yeah.
30 years, how many years later is it? 1992. Yeah. I mean, so I made almost what I made for WrestleMania payoff.
Wow.
That's the thing to keep in perspective.
Yeah, not bad.
I know. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
And we drew more of a crowd as shitty as the match was, and I'm the first to admit it because of my stupidity, and we drew a bigger crowd than the WWE did in the last house show they had there.
Yeah.
And a bigger crowd than they had when I wrestled Steamboat '89.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. So we didn't do that bad.
No, we didn't do that bad.
And I got to party with Kid Rock afterwards.
Come on.
After drinking some Gator.
Thank you, Mr. Taker, for that.
Yeah.
Santino wants to know, how did Rick come up with the spot where you fall face first into the mat? Always got a kick out of that.
It's called the Gordon. So when Gordon Solie used to drink, he'd take 2 steps forward and go forward. No, what happened is as my athletic skills diminished, I just became a full-fledged entertainer.
Yes.
And the thing of it is, that was the biggest pop I could get all night for years. They were tired of me chopping something and going, woo. I had to add something else to my offensive repertoire.
Here's a great question from Coach Spanky. Where did you get the idea for your entrance music? I know Elvis would also use that song before his shows.
And Frank Sinatra, Dusty Rhodes gave it to me.
Okay, wow.
Me, old Blue Eyes, and the King.
Winners has a fun question. Not sure if he's ever been asked this before, but would you have preferred to come to the WWF earlier than 1991?
That's a tough question. No, I was really happy there. I look back at it now, I just cannot figure out how Herd got there. We should have just rolled on forever.
Right.
We were in a great place for that whole thing with Jim Herd. And the thing with the belt, I knew he would never pay me if I gave him the belt.
Right.
I've heard other people talk about it on their pay cut. I mean, Arn actually was spot on. He owed me $25,000. He said, "Stick it up your ass." Okay, I mean, I know I'm not going to get it, so kiss my ass.
Right.
And we tried to get him. You and I tried to get him to do a one-on-one. That I would love to.
I mean, that would have been super fun. He was really gracious with us when we met him in St. Louis, and I thought,
what's he gonna do? Tell a story about me running around naked at an Italian restaurant? Okay.
Well, here's the thing, too.
Like people don't know that.
I don't think we ever publicized it, but you guys actually talked that day when I met him in St. Louis. You got to catch up and say hello after all that time, and
I did.
Yeah, it was brief, but you kind of couldn't
Where?
believe you were talking to. It was on the telephone. I called you.
Oh yeah, on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant no. We asked him to come down in person for that show.
Yeah, would have been awesome.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, just the idea. Listen, I know that face to. I mean, at this point, he is much older than people even imagine, and it's like, yeah, it would have been cool to just have some closure and let bygones be bygones. It's not like you're going to beat up the elderly.
No, I know, but no, it's not even that. It's just well, first of all, I'm 74. Okay.
Well, yeah, but you at 74, it's not an average dude at 74.
No. What I'm saying, no, I didn't mean like that, but I mean, it just, you know what keeps things on edge with people is social media.
Right.
These podcasts.
Yes.
These guys come up with stories. I saw something where Billy Jack said that I wouldn't vote for him to win the championship. Billy Jack, I love you, buddy. I didn't have a vote. I was the champion.
Yeah.
People make up these stories. I mean, it's amazing. Iron covered the Black Scorpion story. It was the worst thing in the world, but it was Ole and Herd's idea, not mine. I just took the hit rather than have Barry Arn do it. Can you imagine having Arn walk out and being a Black Scorpion? he sitting in that box for 5 hours. He looked at me and said, "Speak." Instead, he and Barry went out and stole it with Doom. You know, but these damn social media, these podcasts, and oh God, this is my new favorite thing. Oh, thank you for reminding. So EC3, is that his name?
Yes. I
saw on my page because I'm forced to look at his. How he was talking about me and Eric in the fight now, right? Okay, or something like, which he knows nothing about in WWE.
Right.
And I swear to God, if there's one thing I hate worse than someone calling someone great
Right.
and they're average, is why does everybody that's ever been just on the roster, how are they a WWE superstar? What the hell? That's an embarrassing thing. A kid that wrestled one time is a WWE superstar. Wow. Think about that. I mean, that is some serious shit to me. That's some serious shit. I take it real. WWE, I don't even know the kid. And he didn't say anything bad.
Yeah.
But how do you just sign a contract and maybe not even wrestle, but you are a former WWE superstar? What a fucking joke. Please have won a championship or do something that made someone's head turn around like Linda Blair. Anything. Then call yourself a superstar. I'm not even sure. Come on. All you have to do. So the guy tells me he used to work for WWE. I said, yeah, who? When? What time frame? He said, oh, it's 30 years ago. I said, let me get a picture of him. I said, he's lying to you. Oh, he said he said he wrestled you in Dusty Rhodes. Really? Well, people are running into, man, that have been in the business. Wow.
Right. My goodness. Well, let's do a question here about Tommy Rich. This is a great one from Mark. He says, where does Rick rank Tommy Rich as a wrestler? Does he think Tommy could have made it in the WWE, or was he quote unquote too Southern?
He would have made it in WWE in the 80s.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tommy would have made, first of all, Tommy is a very good wrestler. Okay.
Yes.
Handsome. The girls loved him. First of all, if you have talent and you're with Vince McMahon and Vince sees the talent in you, you're going to make it. Because Tommy could talk. There's nothing, there was no bias against Southern wrestlers. I mean, Tommy was over him. It just, if Tommy had worked out and done, Tommy partied like me, but didn't go to the gym. So,
right.
But I wrestled Tommy a lot of our Broadways, and he was over, man. He's like Ricky Morton with the girls. I mean, they loved him. And he drew a lot of money.
We'll close with this. Ron wants to know, if you were teaching promo class to young wrestlers, what advice would you give them?
Get in the car by yourself. You're not going to want to hear this. Have somebody else, get in the car. Have somebody else drive. I don't want to promote drinking and driving. Turn on some music and drink beer. Do a 200-mile trip with somebody you can laugh and tell stories with and get drunk and then think and put on music. Go from country to rock and roll. It's feeling it. And it's hard to say. These promo classes, I get it, but man, you're going to find that niche if it's meant to be. But music is has so influenced mine. Not my, just listening to beats and upbeat and laughing, and it's just hard to walk into a class on 2 cups of coffee and then find yourself and be charismatic at 10 in the morning, no matter who's teaching you.
So you came up with your stuff in the car?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, or if and then a cup of coffee in the morning riding across town. But I knew I was wrestling, and my interviews were different as all of them. I had to talk about 10 guys sometimes, 3.
Right.
I'd be talking about Dusty, Nikita, Magnum, the Road Warriors. I mean, you had to think and put everybody that you were going to be up against in whatever scenario. And then, of course, you had to tell them what city it was. And then, of course, you had to tell them what hotel the girls could find us at.
I love you for that.
Then you had to go, woo. Dance all night, dance a little longer.
One of the things that we see.
You could have been an 80s wrestler. You'd have loved it. We'd have got in the back of that Rolls Royce here, man, and really cut some promos.
Count me in. We often hear guys, like even when we were putting together promos for your last match, Charlotte was sort of chuckling with Jey about the promo that he cut, because you always feel the need to repeat the town and the date, the city,
Me? Yeah.
all of that stuff. Not you, just in general.
Yeah,
that
sure.
was something that you did for those sort of localized promos to try to sell tickets. I get that. But I've also heard Tony Schiavone say advice to young wrestlers in AEW: when you start a promo, be thinking about how you want to finish it. You want to finish strong. You want, in sales, we might call it a call to action, but you
Yeah.
got to have some sort of closing line. Was there a structure to a traditional Ric Flair promo? Like, yes, you want to hit these things, but you want to finish here? Or was it just off the top all the time?
Just off the top. The gift. But I was so passionate about the business, and I was competing with Dusty. Great talk. Competing with Arn, competing with Piper, competing with Hulk. I mean, there was a lot of good talkers back then. So it was as much a competition on the mic as it was in the ring.
Boys and girls, this was a lot of fun this weekend. If you haven't already, go ahead and make plans to check out Ric Flair's Wooo Wings. Maybe you're going to go ahead and get that Power Slap pay-per-view, have some friends over. Why not celebrate with the guy who's most famous for slapping everybody? Wooo Wings. They got more than 51 locations across 17 different states and more on the way. And you can order the World Championship Wooo Wings from your Uber Eats or Postmates app in Alabama, Arizona, California, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, Michigan, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. For a complete list of the current locations or to find out more information about becoming one of Ric Flair's restaurant partners, visit RicFlairWings.com. Wooo Wings is a virtual brand, so it is delivery only, and the food is made by restaurant partners with an existing location who are looking to add more to their bottom line. If you're in a Wooo Wing city, order today from the Uber Eats or Postmates app and try the only chicken wings worthy of carrying the name of the 16-time world heavyweight champion, Wooo Wings. Rick, that's going to do it for us here today, man.
Okay,
I had
man.
a
Good
blast.
one. I'll see you, if not Friday night, Saturday.
We will see you there.
Change the whole lay of the land.
Hey, man, what? Figure out what time you finish your deal on Saturday at the big event, and we'll come find you.
I'll be done at 5:00.
We'll see you soon.
Woo!